place to raise your family.
What's the plan for the girls that day, with this day off?
Well, there wasn't a plan.
It was supposed to be an ordinary afternoon. Two best friends, Libby German and Abby Williams, set out for a walk on a scenic trail in Delphi, Indiana, laughing, snapping photos, enjoying the last hours of daylight. But by the next day, that peaceful trail would turn into a crime scene, and the entire nation would be haunted by a single chilling recording, a man's voice saying, "Down the hill." This wasn't just another small-town tragedy. It was a brutal, calculated murder that left more questions than answers, and even now, years later, the mystery still sends shivers down the spine of anyone who dares to listen to those haunting final moments. You're watching More Crime. New true crime stories drop here every third day, so subscribe, turn on notifications, and let's dive deep into the case that shook Delphi to its core. It was Monday, February 13, 2017, an unseasonably warm winter day in Delphi, Indiana. Schools were closed for a scheduled snow makeup day, giving students an unexpected break. For 13-year-old Abigail, Abby, Williams and 14-year-old Libby, German, it was the perfect chance to spend the day together. Around 1:35 p.m., Libby's older sister dropped them off near the entrance to the Monon High Bridge Trail, a popular hiking path just outside of town. The plan was simple: get some fresh air, take photos, and enjoy the afternoon before heading back home. At 2:07 p.m., Libby posted a Snapchat photo of Abby walking across the old railroad bridge, a narrow, weathered structure suspended high above Deer Creek. That image would become one of the last known visual records of the girls alive. Not long after, something went terribly wrong. Witnesses later reported seeing a man on the trail, stocky build, wearing blue jeans, a navy jacket, and a cap pulled low over his face. Libby, somehow sensing danger, began recording with her phone. What she captured was both a clue and a nightmare, the man's calm but commanding voice saying, "Down the hill." When the girls failed to meet Libby's father at the agreed pickup spot later that afternoon, family members began to worry. Calls went unanswered. The trail, once filled with the sound of birds and the wind, was now filled with the shouts of friends and neighbors searching. That night, searchers combed the area until darkness forced them to stop. By morning, the search resumed, and within hours, the unthinkable happened. The morning of February 14, 2017, Valentine's Day, dawned cold and gray in Delphi. Volunteers, police officers, and K-9 units gathered once again at the trailhead. Everyone hoped the girls had simply gotten lost or taken shelter somewhere overnight. But deep down, many feared the worst. At around noon, a small search team moved along Deer Creek, just a short distance from the Monon High Bridge. About half a mile from where the Snapchat photo was taken, they came across a scene that would scar the entire community forever. There, in a secluded patch of land on the north bank of the creek, searchers found the bodies of Libby German and Abby Williams. Police immediately cordoned off the area. Details about the scene were kept strictly confidential. Even today, many aspects of the crime remain unreleased. The location was not directly accessible from the trail, suggesting the killer had led the girls away before the attack. Within hours, the news spread across Delphi. Parents pulled their children from school. People hugged each other in disbelief. The shock was overwhelming: two young, bright lives taken so brutally, and in a place everyone thought was safe. Law enforcement confirmed it was now a double homicide investigation. They also confirmed something remarkable: Libby's phone had captured audio and video of the suspect. While the police kept much of the footage private, they released a still image showing a man walking along the bridge, as well as a short audio clip of his voice. Those three chilling words, "Down the hill," became burned into the memory of an entire nation. The hunt for the man in that photo had officially begun. From the very first hours after the discovery, police knew they were dealing with a predator who had walked among them, someone who could blend in and vanish just as quickly. The image from Libby's phone showed a man in blue jeans, a navy jacket, and a hoodie, walking toward the girls on the Monon High Bridge. His head was slightly down, his hands in his pockets. He didn't look like a monster, and that was the most unsettling part. He looked like anyone. Indiana State Police released the image to the public the very next day, alongside that haunting audio, "Down the Hill." The voice was low, steady, and chillingly calm. Investigators hoped someone would recognize it instantly. Within days, thousands of tips poured in. The FBI joined the case, setting up a massive tip line. Search warrants were executed, interviews conducted, and suspects questioned. But each promising lead seemed to dissolve into another dead end. The case gripped national headlines. News outlets replayed the audio clip endlessly. True crime communities online dissected every frame of the video. Who was the man? Why did he target Libby and Abby? How had he managed to disappear in such a small town? Police remained tight-lipped, refusing to reveal the girls' cause of death or other crime scene details. They insisted this was necessary to protect the investigation. And perhaps to weed out false confessions. In 2019, more than 2 years after the murders, investigators made a surprising move. They released new audio, a longer clip of the man's voice, and a short video from Libby's phone showing his awkward gait as he walked along the bridge. They also unveiled a new suspect sketch, one that looked far younger than the original. The change stunned the public. Was the killer someone much younger than everyone had imagined? Could he have been hiding in plain sight this entire time? One thing was clear, police knew far more than they were revealing. And somewhere out there, the man on that bridge was still free. For years, the Delphi community lived in the shadow of fear. People locked their doors earlier, kept a closer eye on their children, and whispered rumors about possible suspects. Every so often, police would hold a press conference, urging the killer to come forward, speaking directly to him through the cameras. Then, in October 2022, more than 5 years after Libby and Abby were killed, news broke that sent shockwaves across Indiana. A man named Richard Allen had been arrested in connection with the murders. Allen, 50, was a local resident, a married man who worked at the CVS pharmacy right in Delphi. Customers remembered him filling their prescriptions. He had lived quietly in the town for years, never raising suspicion. According to court documents, investigators had linked Allen to the scene through witness statements and ballistic evidence. A bullet, unspent but found near the girls' bodies, was determined to have been cycled through a gun registered to Allen. It was a crucial piece of forensic evidence, one that tied him directly to the crime. Even more chilling, Allen had admitted to police back in 2017 that he had been on the Monon High Bridge the same day the girls vanished. He claimed he was just out for a walk, and at the time, it didn't seem like enough to implicate him. For years, that admission sat buried in old reports, unnoticed, until a fresh review of the case brought it back into the spotlight. The arrest was a relief for many, but also raised painful questions. How had Allen managed to live in plain sight for over 5 years? How many times had people in Delphi unknowingly passed him on the street, not realizing he was the man from Libby's video? As Allen awaited trial, the community held its breath. The road to justice had been long, but finally, there was hope that Libby and Abby's killer would face the consequences. Still, the trial promised to reveal long-guarded secrets, details that the public had been kept from for years. And some feared those revelations would be just as haunting as the day the girls were taken. The arrest of Richard Allen was a monumental step, but it was far from the end of the story. In fact, some would say it was only the beginning of another long and grueling chapter. From the start, the case against Allen was shrouded in secrecy. Much of the evidence was sealed by the court, with prosecutors citing the need to protect witnesses and preserve the integrity of the trial. This meant the public, and even many of the family's supporters, were left in the dark. They knew there was a bullet linked to Allen's gun, and they knew about his admission of being on the bridge that day, but beyond that, details were scarce. What truly stunned people was the realization that Alan had been hiding in plain sight for over half a decade. He lived just minutes from the crime scene. He was friendly to customers. He participated in ordinary community events. The idea that someone capable of such violence could blend so seamlessly into small-town life was chilling. Meanwhile, Alan's defense team claimed he was innocent and accused investigators of rushing to judgment. They argued the ballistic evidence wasn't conclusive and suggested that the real killer could still be out there. The courtroom battle promised to be fierce, and every hearing brought new tension to Delphi. For Libby and Abby's families, attending court was a painful reminder of the girls' absence. Each appearance by Alan was a flashback to the worst day of their lives. Yet, they kept showing up, determined to see justice served, no matter how long it took. Outside the courthouse, the community remained divided. Some were certain Alan was guilty. Others were cautious, fearing the heartbreak of another false lead. And then there were the unanswered questions, the ones that had haunted this case from the start. What exactly happened in those final minutes on the bridge? Were there others involved? And why did it take so long for the pieces to come together? The trial would one day bring answers. But in Delphi, the shadow of the Monon High Bridge still loomed. A reminder that the truth, no matter how delayed, has the power to shake an entire town to its core. 7 years have passed since Libby German and Abby Williams set out for an afternoon walk that would change Delphi forever. In that time, the town has endured heartbreak, frustration, and an unrelenting need for justice. 2 families have lived every day without their daughters, birthdays, holidays, and milestones they should have been there for. The empty chairs at family gatherings speak louder than words ever could. The arrest of Richard Allen brought a wave of relief, but also a sobering truth: no trial, no verdict, can ever bring Libby and Abby back. Justice can punish, but it cannot heal the ache that loss leaves behind. Still, this case is a testament to persistence. The families never stopped fighting. The investigators refused to close the file. And the community, despite fear and uncertainty, stood together in the hope that one day, the killer would face the consequences. Now, as the trial looms and evidence is prepared to be revealed, the world will finally hear the full story. Until then, every detail matters. Every share, every discussion, every reminder of Libby and Abby's names keeps their memory alive and ensures their case is never forgotten. If you believe in justice, in truth, and in standing up for those who can no longer speak for themselves, I urge you, keep following this story. Share it with others. Talk about it. Because somewhere, there is always someone who knows something, and one voice could change everything. This is Noir Crime, and we bring you true crime stories that matter, the ones that deserve to be told, the ones that deserve answers. We upload new videos every 3rd day, so if you want to stay updated on cases like this, make sure you're subscribed and notifications are on. For Libby. For Abby. For every family still waiting for justice, we won't stop telling their stories. And neither should you.